What's up? First of the month shit. What's up, y'all? What? Is it too? Tuesday. What? What's up, y'all? How do we deal with people that we don't like? I'll tell you who I don't like. Yo, the mayor of the city of Philadelphia. Yo, I voted for and I want to like her so bad, but she's making it impossible. What's up, y'all? What's good? Yeah, let's keep it going. don't care. Yo, if it's gonna be one of those nights, then let it be one of those nights. What up, y'all? Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily. It's the daily go get wisdom show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it whiz? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, thinking all fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talking about would you deal with somebody that you did not like tonight? How do you treat people that you don't like? How do you treat people that you don't like? You know, a lot of people have a problem interacting with people who they don't have a good rapport with, or who they don't really like, or who they don't appreciate a lot. I get it. I totally understand it. But I also know that we live in a world where we have to try to interact. I mean, sometimes it's for business reasons. Sometimes it's for personal reasons. Sometimes it's for family reasons. You know, so when we say, why should I do things for people that I don't like? Sometimes it's for money. Sometimes it's to keep the peace. Sometimes it's so you can get something from somebody that you may not have been able to get on your own. You know, we have to make decisions out here as we grow, as we become grown. You know, it ain't easy being an adult. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. What's up, y'all? Make sure y'all hit the like button as we coming on up in here. You know what I mean? The door's just open. Y'all coming in here slow. It's raining outside. That might have an impact. Maybe some people are too busy putting down their umbrellas, wiping off their feet, getting ready. But everything is going to be all right. Why should I do things for people that I don't like? Why should I do things for people who I don't like? Why should I do things for people who I don't like? I mean, it's from situation to situations. You have to make certain decisions. Like you might not deal with one person who you don't like differently than you might deal with another person you don't like. Like a person that you don't like in your neighborhood, in your friend circle. You might deal with them differently than you deal with somebody at work who you don't like, or in business who you don't like. You know, so you can kind of see the benefits of dealing with some people who you don't like, even though it might make you feel a little fake to do so. But we all have to make decisions in our lives that may go against our basic principles. Sometimes we have to go against our basic principles. We don't like to do it. We don't be wanting to do it, but sometimes we got to do it. What's good? T. Carey Wright, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And what's that? Matthew Lizcano. Okay. All right. Matthew got problems. And what's up, Dimples D's? How you feeling? Matthew got a situation going on. He said the thing that bothers me is that she said she liked me like 2 weeks ago. Oh, she might still like you. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this hardware. We're going to get this out of the way. Out of the way so we can concentrate on what I have to say. What's good, y'all? What is going down? So yeah, why should I do things for people who I don't like? I mean, some people can't do it. Some people absolutely have a mental block on dealing with people who they don't like. I understand it. I totally get it. But you know, you can't always wear your heart on your sleeve. You can't always deal with exactly the people or only the people or exclusively the people that you like, or sometimes even the people who support you. You know, a lot of times we get on that type time. Like, I'm only gonna deal with the people who support me. I'm only gonna support the people who support me. It sounds great. It sounds great in theory, but in real life, the way that it plays out in real life, sometimes we gotta make moves that may go against our core beliefs, our basic principles, the way we were raised even sometimes. So we're gonna get into that tonight on the Daily Go Getimism show. I hope y'all feeling good. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should also. So let's go ahead and have this conversation. Let's have us a little talk. We can talk about some things. We can talk about some things, and we can get into this. We can get into the topic. Yeah, we can get into the topic. Let's get into the topic right now. I talk to you, you talk to me. We get into the topic. Yeah, we get into the topic. Hey, Mickey, what's good? How you feeling? Hey, Mickey. Thanks for coming through. Haven't seen you in a hot little minute. Just a little hot minute. It's always good to see you come through. My man Jeff Sprayberry is in the house. What the deal is, my peoples? Always good to see you. Always good to see you. Always. So Matthew has a little issue going on. To be honest, she's not the type of girl to come back. Oh, do you think she could have just lost interest? So what you got going on here, Matt? Okay. He deleted that. All right, well, we're going to keep it moving. Why should I do things for people who I don't like? Sometimes you don't have a choice. You know, I've heard it said that you can choose your friends, but you can't necessarily choose your enemies. Your enemies choose you. I've heard that. Now, is that 100% true? By the power vested in me, I don't think so. I mean, the same way you may bend over backwards to gain friends and to gain favor, I could see the same thing being done in reverse in order to lose friends or to gain an enemy. Honestly, well, let me ask y'all. Let me ask y'all this real quick. What do y'all think is easier? Making friends or making enemies? Which do you think is easier? You know what? Let me put it a better way. What's easier for you? Because I don't think it's that hard to piss most people off and turn them off from you. It's a little bit harder to get people on your side and gain support, I think. But for the personal person, for you personally, what has come easier for you? You know, because sometimes some people feel like they get haters more by mistake than other people do on purpose. You know, if you've ever heard a person complain about people hating on them, people shitting on them, people doing them wrong, people cheating them, people stepping all on them, people biting their back out. I've heard people complain about this, and I've seen it where it seemed to be legit, and I've seen a whole lot of times where it was just a bunch of gibberish, a bunch of attention-seeking gibberish. So, but with you personally, for you personally, what has come easier? Has making friends come easier for you, or has making enemies become easier for you? And well, let me see if y'all answer the question first. We'll see. Matthew says, a girl I met is going to a different school, but I want to call her, but she keeps on saying she's busy. I've stopped talking to her for a while, though. I want to go out with her to see what's up. So ask her out. I mean, women like men who are assertive, especially nowadays. You know, if a man talks about taking them out, you know, more than likely she's going to be with it. She's going to be with it more than likely. You know what I mean? So I would say just go ahead, shoot your shot. Go for yours. Ali says enemies, but what's wrong with that in this day and age? Having values you hold true with that you hold true with conflicts with most people who are sheep. So you think that because you hold certain values, that should make people be enemies with you? That's interesting. Now, in my own life, I have made haters easily. But you know, there was a time in my life where I actually had to step back and look at my own behavior and see what was going on. Going on. Sometimes people just don't like your energy. Your energy may be different than what they're used to, and it may seem suspicious to them. You know, you ever hear somebody call somebody fake and they don't even know them? Fake is one of those words that people were calling people fake way before the internet, way before social media. But in social media, after social media, during social media, right now, oh my God, people be throwing around the F word, fake. He seems so fake. She seems so fake. Well, what does that mean? You know, like, what is real to you? Because real is one of those words that since hip hop threw it out there, you have people who think being real means being violent, being ignorant, not thinking about what you do or say before you do it. That's real to a lot of people. You real because you've been to jail a couple of times. You're real because you don't know how to control your mouth with certain people. You're real because you don't practice diplomacy. You're real because you don't compromise and you don't see the benefit in doing that. So I can't get with that definition of being real. I can't. Now, some people can, plenty of people can, but I can't get with that because there are other things that I know to be real too. Some things that I think are real are love. I think love is real. I think romance is real. I think comfort is real. I think peace is real. And think about it. Think about how hard you have to work in order to get true love. And how lucky you have to be sometimes in order to get true love, in order to find peace, in order to get comfortable, in order to be comfortable in your own skin. That takes work. And that's real to me. Putting in the work for something is real. But for some people, they think being real is stealing. Being real is cheating. Being real is taking shortcuts. So, you know, it's subjective, but the word itself is not subjective. It is what it is. Matthew says, I have also made haters easily. For me, what I think is that God puts in and takes out people in my life for a purpose to make me better. That's cool. Jeff says, and now another episode of When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong. Ali says, not enemy. I just say that because that's the title you said, but maybe better title is to use. I mean, a better title is to use is people who are not friends. No, I mean enemies. I mean enemies. When I say friends, I mean real friends. And when I say enemies, I mean real enemies. Because if you think about it, how hard is it to make an enemy? Curse somebody out who you don't know. Accuse them of being something or doing something before you know anything about them. You get an enemy instantly. It ain't hard to get enemies. Find a religious person and start talking about the devil a lot, or saying that there ain't no God. I'll bet you get an instant enemy. Instant. It ain't hard to make no enemies. It ain't. Especially nowadays of social media, all you have to do is disagree. All you have to do is disagree. Think about it. Think about it. All of these Democrats going up against Republicans, that's happening where? On the internet. That shit don't happen in real life. Offline, I do not have arguments with anybody about politics. Because we can agree that we know other things about each other. You understand what I'm saying? Offline, we know things about each other besides the politics. Online, we don't have that. So my opinion has to jive with your opinion in order for us to be okay on the internet. Now, sometimes for some people, it does spill off of the internet because they can't separate the two. MG Brown, Brown. Damn, what's this? The night of girlfriends, of men having girl problems? Bro, my girlfriend broke up with me today. Tell me more. Tell me more. And Ali says, what do you do in an area where the community is fake, but you are held real by not conforming and being a good family man, a provider, and holds religious values. Real is moral and philosophical. I think that it can be. Dimples D says, for me, I would say enemies be enemies because enemy often involves a single negative action or a series of missteps, while building a strong friendship requires consistent effort, trust, and kindness. I'm rocking with that. Q Hughes says the world is so sensitive. You say the wrong thing and you have enemies. Exactly. Unless you're dealing with people who are rational. Unless you're dealing with people who are rational and who can separate a disagreement from a diss. Some people look at the disagreement as a diss. I'm a big Eagles fan because they're the best team in the world. And, you know, they Super Bowl champions and they're going to repeat and all of that kind of shit. And they're just better than every other team. But when I talk about my birds, fans of other teams don't like the way I sound. And I understand because they didn't win the Super Bowl. Now, so when I deal with like other fans from the NFC East, you know, we go at each other all the time, but it doesn't become personal. But for some people, their whole identity rests with their team. As silly as it sounds, in certain scenarios, that's how it plays out. Ali says, what do the beads represent? The beads represent, these are called struggle beads. And I got a lot of them. It's not just the ones you see. Like I got these, all handmade, handcrafted, you know what I'm saying? These are called struggle beads. The reason that they're so big and thick and long and different is because these would have been big gold chains back in the 80s and 90s. Because that was the big gold chain era. You know, big cables. Dookie ropes, we used to call them. Dookie ropes is what we used to call them. Now, you know, get a little older. We don't wear as much gold. I still wear mine, but only on, you know, weekends and stuff like that. But I call these struggle beads because I'm a 70s baby who grew up in the 80s. In the 80s, you know, that was the AIDS era. That was the crack era. There was violence. It was the birth of gangster rap. It was a violent era. It was crazy in ways that you wouldn't even believe if you weren't there. Way worse than it is now. But that was our struggle. And we also had the struggle of racism, education, finding a good job or career, making a good living. So these represent all of my 70s babies who grew up in the 80s, who made it through. So these are struggle beads. You know, when you look at them, you know what I mean? These joints shine. You know, they shine. I mean, and these are genuine. These are cow bones. These are cow bone necklaces. They made a cow bones. Moo, moo, whoa, moo. All right. The fuck is that beard? Yo, you named yourself fucking Wawa and put Wawa as your symbol. And you got the nerve to come up in here talking shit. You gotta be kidding me. Never in all my days, this motherfucker named himself after a fucking convenience store, a gas station. The place where you buy hoagies. Get a bag of chips. And he's talking about a struggle beard? This motherfucker calls himself Wawa. How unoriginal. People on the West Coast don't even know what the fuck you talking about. Yo. And this motherfucker calls himself P. Diddy. Damn, y'all. Damn. Yo, hey, Mickey, what's wrong with these? Yo, what the fuck? Tell me something. He ain't never seen a forehead this creased. Oh, yeah? Well, I ain't never seen a fucking moniker or an internet name that dumb. I ought to call, man, somebody get corporate or Wawa on the line and get this motherfucker for copyright infringement. This motherfucker calls himself Wawa and is acting like he's representing Wawa. Somebody needs to do something about him. Q Hughes says, welcome to the era of rage bait. Motherfuckers don't be getting no rage. They just trolls. Trolls. That's all. They just trolls. But here's the thing. They are here. They not anywhere else. It's 2:30 a.m. on the East Coast. And here they are. They could be home studying for classes. They could be playing Call of Duty or some. Somebody that young and that dumb, you know, with a name like that, he probably don't play Call of Duty. He probably play Fortnite. He look like a Fortnite type. He don't look like he play games rated mature. He probably only play rated teen. Anyway, so like I said. Now, this is actually a good example because the title of this show is Why Should I Do Things for People Who I Don't Like? And what up, my peoples, Wes? Wes, what's going on? How you feeling, my dude? Good to see you. Good to see you. Why should I do things for people who I don't like? Well, sometimes there's money involved. You know, like if you don't like somebody at your job, you didn't hire him, though. And you probably can't get him fired. And think about the reasons why you usually don't like people who you go to work with. Think about it. A lot of times we don't like the people who we work with because sometimes they're nosy. Sometimes they are the type that tell on people, report to people. I don't like to use the word snitch in the workplace because I really feel like that's a word for the street. That's a word for street activity. But there are plenty of people who use the word snitching at jobs. You know, sometimes people at jobs are rude. Let me ask y'all something. Have you ever worked at a job with somebody? Like it might have been a job where there are a lot of people who work there. And you know, you may walk past people who you work with, see them in the hallways or whatever, and they never speak. Never speak to you. You know? Y'all may know a lot of the same people. They speak to those people, but they never spoke directly to you. And maybe because you saw that they weren't putting any effort to be social, you didn't speak either. And just by chance, you at the circus, you at a ball game, you at a parade, you in the park, and you see that person. Outside of work, they like, hey, how you doing? Hey, I know you from my job. Like you never even heard this person speak because they never spoke to you. They never spoke to you in the job. But outside of the job, they recognize your face and you get to thinking to yourself like, and they joke with it. Hey, how you doing? Hey, don't you work at blah, blah, blah? Like, yeah, you know I work there. Motherfucker, you see me all the time. You never spoke. Why are you speaking now? What's going on here? What's happening? How are we doing? It's like one of those things. My man Buana Haguski, what's good? What's good? How you feeling? My peoples. My peoples, my peoples, my peoples, my peoples, my peoples. But like I said, at your job, it's for the money. And one thing that jobs look for, like even when you go to the, even when you fill out an application or you go to a job interview, they want you to work well with others. So let's say like in a job interview, you tell them something like, well, I really like to work by myself. And if I get the opportunity, you know what I mean? I'll just knock out all the work solo dolo. You're not going to get that job. You're not going to get that job. Hey, Mickey said, we call them sometimey people. That is what we call them. But the thing is, they wasn't sometimey at the job. Every time you saw them, they were no speaky, no talky, no wavy, no interacty. You catch them up in the Family Dollar. Hey! Complete with the smile. Hey! You like, hey! Hey! This shit is baffling. It's baffling, son. That shit baffling. Kim's Whims. My girl Kimmy was good. And Zyclop says Diddy for president. Oh boy. Well, let's see. They came back with partial verdicts in the Diddy case. I don't know. It looked like he's going to do some time. And he ain't going to totally walk. Let me see. Hugh says, when I'm working, I don't small talk. I don't get paid to do so. Outside of work, fair game to chop it up. Why not? What do you mean you don't get paid to small talk? Or what do you mean by that? Because I talk whenever I want to talk. I would never work on a job that paid me based on, whether I was sociable or not. I understand what you're saying on that side, but I don't get personal with people who I work with. Like, a lot of people have best friends at work, or they make most of their friends and lovers at the job. That's not me. I keep it funky. We can be cool at work. I don't even tell people I work with about this, like what I do. I don't tell them about this. They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. I don't share that part of my life with them. Not until they quit. And sometimes not even then. Let me see. Thomas Valco, what's good? Buana says, at some jobs, they want you to do some tap dancing. And you might have to do it. And that's one of those situations where you might have to do some things for somebody who you don't like. Like, what if you don't like your supervisor? What if you don't like your manager? What if you don't like the owner of the business? What if you don't like HR? What if you don't like a lot of things at work? But you like that check, right? And if they don't get that money right, we got So Q Hughes, you one of those people who don't speak to people at the job, but you'll speak to them if you see them outside of the job. Like, yo, I would like you to explain that. Like, because if you give me bad vibes, I'm not going to speak to you at work, and I'm not going to speak to you anywhere. You know what I mean? Like on some green eggs and ham shit. I will not speak to you in a box. I will not speak to you in a market. I will not speak to you on Mars, the moon, down in hell, up in heaven, at the local Acme, Giant, at the circus, Ringdon Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, or Clyde Beatty, the Clyde Beatty Circus. I'm not speaking. If I don't fuck with you like that, I don't fuck with you. Inside and out, up and down, back and forth, side to side. But there's no reason to be like that at work, unless you want some grimy shit. Because sometimes the people at work, they think they know you. They might think they know you by the way you talk, the way you dress. I've had people at work ask around the city about me, like on some straight investigative shit. Yeah, I've been part of that kind of shit. Wes says, why you have no friends but your mom. I don't think somebody like him, he ain't got no mom. That motherfucker he was born out in the forest, not the jungle like Tarzan. He was born out there with the fucking muskrats, the chipmunks, deer, not even a wolf. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ain't no, there ain't none of that shit. Ain't no telling lions and apes and gorillas what to do. Like, ain't nobody listening to you. That's why he fishing for attention so much. Look, he want attention from me. That motherfucker think I'm cute. He talking about my head and all that shit. That motherfucker, I mean, sometimes you just have to accept the fact that some people are gay and they be fighting their inner demons. Like, I'm not supposed to be gay. My daddy wasn't gay. Or was he? My brothers aren't gay. Or are they? It's just you battling with your sexuality. It's all right, man. Here it is, 2025. You got a whole organization They will stand behind you. They will cheer when you come out of the closet. You ain't got to be over here acting like you don't like something that you like. You can go anywhere and act like you don't like something that you like. But you can actually have people like you. But anyway, let's keep it pushing. Balling on a Budget says, why deal with people you don't like? People you don't like for any reason is one less person to worry about. Now, I agree with that. But the thing is, balling on a budget, is it possible to make it through your life totally not dealing with people who you don't like? Like, I don't know what you do for a living, but just let's say whatever you do for a living, let's say you got a little side hustle going on. Whatever it is, you could be selling socks, t-shirts. You could be selling, I don't know, gift cards or some whatever. You know, you have a business that you are making money with. Hold on. We got my peoples on the land. Hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on, my peoples. Just a second. But yeah, so you're going to have customers. You're going to have customers who are going to be essential to your bottom line. They put money in your pocket. And some of them might rub you the wrong way. You know, sometimes when people are customers, when they're holding money, they get a little funny. Maybe they're asking for things that you can't deliver. Maybe they are critiquing the items that you're selling or whatever. But nonetheless, they're trying to patronize you. They're trying to put some dough in your pocket. So you might not like them all. But those are the people who are feeding you. So that's one reason you might deal with people who you don't like, because it's lucrative. You know what I mean? You may have employees. That you don't personally care for. Maybe you don't like the way they do some things, but guess what? These employees might work hard for you, or they may have skills that they got the skills that pay your bills. So on a personal level, you may never deal with them because you don't like them. But on a professional level, you like, yo, that's the one right there. So that's one reason you might deal with somebody who you don't like. Another reason you might deal with somebody that you might not like is because they may be connected to somebody who you do like. For example, your girl, your woman, your whiz, your wife, your wifey may have family members who you don't really care for. They might have shit talking family members and you don't really like them, but your girl might love them. And it's important for her to still have a good relationship with them. And you want a good relationship with your girl. Well, you just might have to deal with her family members, even though some of them you might not like. She might have kids who you don't like. Yeah, you don't always like somebody's kids. You don't. Sometimes it's like that. You may get to the point where you like them later, but you might have to deal with some children that are a little off-putting. Hold on. Let me see. Buana says he want that prison C block Rikers Island attention. Kitty treats. Oh, shit. Damn, man. Y'all on this Diddy shit tonight. Diddy. Anyway, call up at the last numbers 5639. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. What's on your mind tonight? What's good?
Hey, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever.
Right. No doubt.
Well, thinking about this topic because, if I don't like somebody, I'm not wasting my time speaking to them, being cordial, giving salutations, none of that. If I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. However, there have been occasions where life has happened, and although some people think I'm mean, I do have a strong sense of humanity that lives within. And I have been in positions where specific people I just don't trust. I wouldn't waste my spit on them if they were on fire. But things have happened in life that forced the humanity out of me. It was just, I can't even say forced the humanity out of me. Just something that's natural because of life. So there's this bitch who is friends with a lot of my loved ones. And I want to put this type of ass so bad. But anyway, I just don't like her. She's trash. I don't even understand why some of my family members still, or some of my loved ones still deal with her. But hey, whatever. And I just don't. Like, I've been put out of my aunt's house because I refuse to speak to her. So I'm honest, one of these people, when somebody comes in and speak, you speak, blah, blah, blah. You come into the house, you speak to everyone. I made it my business to speak to everyone individually and not include her. And so I've been put out of my aunt's house because of that. However, her son was murdered 2 years ago. And without hesitation, my aunt called and she let me know what happened. And before she even asked me, she said, I know you don't like her, you don't get along. And I just stopped my aunt mid-sentence and I just said yes. And the question was, because I'm the person in family who always puts together or designs the funeral program, the obituary. I was going to ask me if I would humble myself and do this for this lady. Well, she didn't have to ask me because regardless of how I feel about her, her son and I never had an issue. He's just a few younger than my son. But more importantly, I'm a mother. And I don't wish that on anyone, So there will be no reason. That is one of those things where it takes precedence over my feelings or whatever situation we have going on. That is completely on pause when it's something like that happens. So I didn't even think about it. I didn't give it a second of thought. It was just an immediate reaction. And I had conversation with her. I gave her my condolences. And I let her know if there's anything you need, call me. And I mean that. And I made the program as beautiful as I could make it to honor her son, to give homage to him, to paint a better picture of who he was than what other people saw. Because with his son, he had a problem with a lot of adults, but he never had a problem with me. He was never disrespectful to me. And I know the way he lived his life was because of his trash-ass nanny. There's just no question. And unfortunately, that life took him away from here.
Okay.
But that didn't stop me from being humane. That didn't stop me from having empathy. That didn't stop me from being a mom to a mom in me, just because I don't like her to this day. Once everything got over with, we were back to where we were. I'm like, girl, do not call my house. I fucking don't like you. But I did give grace period. I did give it time because, again, she's a mom. And I'm a mom. And I didn't want to add another layer of anything on top of what she was going through. So even though there are people we just don't fuck with in life, there still are things besides money and other stuff that would put you in a position to still deal with them if you have morals, if you're humane, if you have a bit of compassion in your body, then you will. And I think that's a good example of one of those situations where, man, I don't like this lady, but in that moment, all of that had to be wiped off the table.
I know how it be. You know, like, there are a lot of situations that we don't always take into consideration in the heat of the moment where we might have to switch up, change up, or do things differently than we may have sketched it up. Like, you know, when we talk about this, having to do something for somebody who we don't like, and we may have to do nice things for them, even though we don't like them. Like, because sometimes your heart warrants it. Sometimes your heart warrants it. And you know, compassion is one of those things that don't really get talked about a lot on the internet. And when it does, it's normally spoken about in an accusatory way. You know, somebody not having enough compassion or whatever. But you know, when you often have to deal with a compassion situation in your own personal life. You know, so like if you've ever been mad at somebody, and when you know, basically when you mad at somebody, you don't like them. At least even if it's just on a temporary basis, but you don't like them. You know what I mean? But it could be somebody you haven't spoken to in years, and then you find out that their mom died. Now, their mom, you may have really liked their mom, but you fell out of favor with their child. Now, even though you were still mad at whatever you was mad at about with their child, the man or the woman, your compassionate side, your heart, understands the pain of losing a parent, whether suddenly or through a drawn out sickness. So that might compel you to put all of your, you know what I mean, your anger, and your anger might be justified. And your reasons for not fucking with that person no more might be justified. But for the time being, you might put all of that to the side.
You know, I just had that experience this weekend. One of these exes called me instead of being so angry with me. He didn't want to talk to me. And I was like, oh, well, fuck you. Like, I don't care. And so I don't call him since he's mad for whatever dumb reason. So I don't call him about nothing. But this weekend, one of our mutual friends let me know that he just recently lost his dad. And, you know, I'm like, let me call him and give him my condolences, you know, because I've been, you know, that's a club I'm a part of, losing a parent, unfortunately, just like you. The club no one wants to be a part of, but here we are. And so I wanted to express my condolences and show him some comfort and support. And he was so shocked that I would call him. I'm thinking, I've never been a dirtball to you. Why would you don't even know me as that kind of person to be like that. Why do you think I wouldn't call and be supportive? But, you know, even in the end, it just meant a lot to him that I reached out to him. But, I mean, again, those are things that you can't take that back. You can't mend it. You can't make it better. I think I told you before, I have a friend, and it's taken me a very long time to speak to him because he's been around the family forever and a day. He sat at my grandmother's house often, put his feet up under her table, and enjoyed her food, enjoyed the company of my family without being my boyfriend or lover or anything, just a friend who my family was welcoming to. And he had this whore trash ass girlfriend, and because he was with her and she had an issue with me, when my grandmother passed, he could not show me any kind of condolence or anything because of him being with his girlfriend. And I'm like, I don't give a damn about her being don't like me. I don't give a fuck about that. Like that, as friends, that shouldn't prevent you from reaching out to me and at least saying something. And it's not even about the fact that we were friends or that it's me. It's just the fact you knew my grandmother. And it took me a long time to speak to him again because we weren't in a bad place. We weren't in an argument. It's just that his girlfriend didn't like me. Mm-hmm. So he wouldn't speak to me because she didn't like me. Like, he didn't even try to send a message through our mutual friend. It was just straight, I can't talk to you or say nothing to you because my girlfriend doesn't like you. And I have an ex now. I did all the arrangement, help him arrange and put together the obituary, everything for his brother's funeral. And because of his girlfriend, he could not tell his family that, hey, Kim did this. People, oh, it's a beautiful job. And he couldn't say, Kim did this, and said, she loves all of you. She misses all of you. She wishes she could be here. And this is her honor and homage to Nate because she loves all of us and loves him and loves me. He couldn't say those things because of his girlfriend. And these two, I just have a tough time with them because are you kidding me? Like, no matter who I'm dealing with, there's nothing that would prevent me from being humane to anyone who's ever been a part of my life. Like, my ex now, my most recent ex, I don't give a damn about who I'm dating. If he ever reached out and said, hey, something happened to my sister, that's not going to prevent me from talking to him. It's not going to prevent me from showing any kind of condolence. And I have a tough time with those things. Mm-hmm. So I can't speak to these guys because of that. I can't deal with them because of that. Because it doesn't take much. And you're basing it on your relationship with some random weirdo. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's crazy to me. Like, there has to be a moment when nothing matters and humanity steps in.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fact. And we don't always consider that when we're talking to somebody about our grievances, you know what I mean? Our differences, you know. I mean, when you're angry, you're angry. And one of the worst things about being angry at somebody is that you start to lose rationale. You know, it's not that hard to depersonalize a person when you feel like they have done you wrong, or done somebody that you love wrong. You know what I mean? But cooler heads prevail, and it can take some time. But there are a lot of times when you might have to deal with somebody that you don't particularly care for, somebody that you're not that cool with socially. Sometimes those people are right there in your own family. I've known, you know, families that had like a lot of brothers and sisters in it. And you know what I mean? You would think that they was less than cousins. They don't really fuck with each other like that. But at the same time, when shit goes down, if somebody mess with one of them, they coming through and they riding. So they understand when it's time to let a person handle their business on their own, and then there's a time to come together regardless of what happened before. Like, I don't really have a problem with that, but it can be tough. It can be tough for a lot of people. You know what I mean? But
that's a very tough one. That's a thin line when it comes to family. That's a very thin line because it just depends. I think that's a harder one to. I think that's a harder one than if it's a friend or a non-blood relative. Mm. And I say that exact, a non-blood relative, because we are fortunate and blessed with the ability to create and craft our family. But These people we're born into, these are relatives. They're related to us by blood, and that doesn't make them family. And I think it's harder when it comes to them to be as forgiving, even though it hurts you, even though it's humanity. I think that one is a little tougher.
Okay. Well, it depends on the person. Because like I said, I've known some people in some families and they really just don't rock with each other like that. And they'll express it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't fuck with my brother like that. Or I don't fuck with my sister like that. A lot of times they'll even tell you, yo, don't fuck with them like that. They're not good people. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So, you know, there's almost no accounting for anger. Motherfuckers be mad, they be mad. And they ain't trying to hear about how come they shouldn't be mad or none of that. They rocking out with how they feel, and nobody's gonna tell them any different. And I get it. I get it. Do I agree with it? No. But I do get it. And but nonetheless, that's an example of when you may not like somebody, but when duty calls, you still come through. You'll make a way. You'll do what's necessary in order to basically carry the torch and make things better, or at least get them out of the way so you can go back to being enemies. Well, I got to do this friendly thing, and then we can go back to our separatist ways. You know what I mean? So, I mean, look, I've seen a lot. But when it comes to dealing with people who you don't like, you don't always hold the cards to that. Not all the time. Plenty of times you do, but you don't always hold the cards to that. And you don't always control who likes you for whatever reason. You know what it's like for somebody who don't really know you like that to disregard you or spread rumors about you or to create a profile about you that's totally false. We all know what that's like. So there are times when we can fail to remember that in reverse. We can fail to remember how somebody treated us when they thought that they knew us, or you know, they tried to maybe defame us or you know, basically talk bad about us to somebody else. You know what I mean? Without really knowing us like that. It can hurt your feelings, even though you might be thinking like, well, why should somebody I don't like and don't really know, why should they hurt my feelings? Because that's just the way feelings work sometimes, unfortunately. You can't unhear what you've heard, and you can't unfeel what you feel. So, but yeah, dealing with people or doing things for people who you don't like, people who have to do it at work, people who have to do it in school. Oh my God. Oh man, my God, I remember being in college. I had to take this summer course. I remember I had to take this summer course with this professor. And it was an English course. And it was like English 2.0. It was this mandatory English class, English 202 or some shit like that. And you took it like in your sophomore year, junior year, like somewhere in between there. So anyway, I took it in the summertime, and I came back. I was at the main campus, and I came back to my branch campus to take this class in the summertime, and I had to get this class out of the way. So to make a long story short, I didn't like the professor at all. He was a little short, punk, little fruity acting type dude. He said he had a wife and all of that, but he was a stone cold bitch. And he was the type, that like wore his sweater tied around his neck. Like I thought they only did that shit in movies. Like people really do that shit? Like, you wrap your sweater around your neck and the back of the sweater is in the back. What the fuck? And guess what though? He didn't like me either. He didn't like me. I remember he stepped to me. He said that he basically told me he ain't like my face and I needed to fix my face. He said when other people in the class are talking and they're giving their feedback and you like looking like, oh my God, whatever. I didn't know that was against the rules. Cause he was probably right. Cause the class was kind of
for a teacher to say that.
Yo, it got worse. It got worse. He told me that first he thought I didn't. He said at first I thought you didn't know the material. So I thought that's why you was huffing and puffing. He was like, you probably don't know anything. But he said when the exam came out, you aced it. He said, oh, he knows the material inside and out, up and down. So what's the problem? He said, well, look, this is what we can do. You don't have to come back to this class for the rest of the year, for the rest of this semester. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, basically, he was trying to say he was kicking me out of the class. And because I was like, well, how am I going to get the material if I don't come to class? He said, well, maybe we'll just have to find another way for you to be able. Maybe we can find a way for you to be able to get the material, but I don't want you in my class. I knew what this, I knew what was going to happen here. He was going to try to fucking flunk me, even though I should be getting an A. And I needed this A at the time. I was fucking up in school, so I needed this A. So I went to my pop, and I said to my pop, I said, listen, man, I got this little fruity ass, super soft professor, and he telling me he's basically kicking me out of his class. And I'm thinking like my pop gonna tell me, he can't do that. You know what I mean? I was already 21 years old, so it wasn't like he could come up to this. Yeah, I mean, he couldn't come up and defend me.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, well, what are you gonna do? I said, what should I do? He said, what you need to do is fix your fucking face in that class and get the fuck on up out of there. Because he can do something to you that you can't do to him.
Yeah.
Now, that ain't what I wanted to hear. Because my little hot, you know what I mean? Hot-headed 21-year-old ass, like, man, fuck out of here. I'm paying this tuition and shit. So you ain't even paying my tuition. Fuck out, you know what I mean? I'm feeling some kind of way. But I needed this class. So I smiled and laughed and interacted and all of that shit for the rest of that semester. And I got my grade and kept it pushing. But that was a lesson I never forgot. It was just my little looking in the sky and rolling, you know what I mean? Shit that I always do. That's why when he said it to me, I knew he wasn't lying. The motherfuckers in the class was kind of dumb. I was like, these simple ass concepts, what the fuck is going on here? But sometimes people don't know what you know. So they were learning in their own way. And just because I already knew the material, maybe I was acting a little snooty. Nobody else seemed to give a fuck. But I didn't like the class. I didn't like the way he was teaching it, and I ain't like him. But he had me where he had me where he needed me. And so what did I have to do for him, even though I ain't like him? I smiled, I laughed, I raised my hand. I answered questions. Shit, if it was a math class, I would have went up to the blackboard. Oh yeah, let me do this equation right here. Shit, I need this class. I wasn't getting, I mean, my sense of justice. I ain't had nobody to help me. I'm looking to the left and right. So yeah, he needed that from, and he commented on it too. He said, you're much better in this class than you were before. I was like, ugh, this punk motherfucker.
That might be the Leo, we don't like you. It just ain't no going back. Like,
listen,
we pretend it's like, hey, I don't dig you at all, not even a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. My man Jason Sloan in the comments, he said, in his defense, at that time you made faces all the time. If you thought something was whack, nobody had to guess. That's what I'm saying. He had me. He had me. You know what I mean? I didn't know the kind of energy I gave off to other people, but people started telling me, and he told me under no uncertain terms. Like, listen, fuck, who you think you is? Oh, black boy, the only black student in with all these white kids and shit, and they in here trying to learn, and your dumb black ass is in here sucking your teeth and and looking at the ceiling and turning away. I don't think I was that bad, but shit, in his eyes I was like, let me get him the fuck up out of here. Think he tough. Here, we see how tough you is with this F. even though you acing these exams, you gonna get an F in the class. Like, he was gonna do me in. He was gonna act like I never came to that fucking class. That's what he was gonna do. He was gonna act like I never came to that class and I didn't do the work. You know what I mean? He's gonna fail me.
He said, I'll show you.
You know what I mean?
I'll show you, smart guy.
And it was my word against his.
With his little tied up sweater. I'll show you, smart guy.
You should have seen it. What actor can I? Fuck. What actor can I?
Tommy Davidson when he does that one character that's so nerdy.
No, because this dude was white. I'm trying to think.
Tommy Davidson got a character like that.
Huh?
Tommy Davidson has a character like that where
I ain't talking about Tommy Davidson. I need a white actor that I can, you know what I'm saying? Somewhere between, he had like dark blonde hair. He was short, but not short, maybe like 5'6", 5, some shit like that. There's an actor whose name I don't know that's coming to my mind. Like maybe a combination between Martin Short and fucking and Woody Allen, some shit like that. Oh, bitch ass mother. But he was, I guess he was like, shit, how you think I got this doctorate? Oh, I don't even know if he was doctor. I don't remember calling him doctor, but.
Sometimes you deal with people you don't like to help other people. Because, I deal with these attorneys in the morning. I deal with these attorneys, and it's one in particular, like, I can't wait to call the Bar Association on her. I just cannot stand and somebody at all can't fathom her. However, because of the kind of clients that call and I do the intake for, it causes me to not, because she's real slick at the mouth. And I've had to tell her before, see, I match energy. and yours right now is negative, then I always know mine is bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So please don't test it. And her thing is, well, I'm an attorney and blah blah blah. And I'm like, girl, I don't give a damn. And so I just don't like her. However, because of the people I deal with her, um, and because of where we are, this upside down world we live in now, some of these people who call her really, really need her help.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is life or death situation. So I have to humble myself and grit my teeth to be cordial to ensure the people who need her are getting the services that she provides. So it puts me in a position where I am, hey, good morning, how are you? Um, this person here needs this, or this situation is taking place right now.
Mm.
What do you need me to do to ensure this person is safe? That kind of thing. So I guess that's another situation where, it's not a direct um, need for yourself, but you get along with these people you don't like to help others because it's the right thing to do. So I guess that's another situation too that's not just thought about or discussed or anything, but sometimes you do it just for other people to make sure other people get what they need, and you put your indifferences aside because of that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's some certain times where you just have to do what's best for a situation. And even
Mm-hmm.
though I mean, and what's best for a situation sometimes calls for you to put your pride to the side, put a lot of things to the side. You know what I mean? Like that, it be like that. It's not the most favorable thing, but I mean, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like you have to decide sometimes whether you want to feel right or whether you want to win. You want to be right or do you want to win?
Mm-hmm.
So in order to win sometimes, you gotta do some things that you gotta do what winners do. You can't just look the way winners want to look. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah, it's a tough situation. But hey, it be the way it be. But it ain't that hard to do things for people who you don't like unless it really is a personal thing where you have the choice of whether you can do this, that, and the third. In business, you don't always have the choices. Your choices can make or bankrupt you. You could decide which one you want to be. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you one thing. If you've ever gone to court, there's a lot of times when fucking judges don't take a liking to you. And you may not like the judge either. You might be mad at the judge because you couldn't get favor from the judge. Like they already looking down on you like you a criminal or you are guilty. But guess what? That ain't got that part is not up to you about whether you like that judge or not. You better make that judge like you.
That's true.
Because because he's going to literally judge you and sentence you based on how he feels about you. So even though it may not be fair, it may not be just, it's going to happen. Now, one thing one thing that I've been saying for years is that friends do things for people who they like. Or should I say, people do things for people who they like. People do things to people who they don't like. Now, that's not to say that you have to bend over backwards and be trying to get all Joe and try to get somebody to love you who don't, or try to get somebody to like you who is almost impossible. But always keep that in mind. So as you go about your business, disconcerting people or turning people off, just remember what people who are turned off by you may do to you. Not saying that they're going to physically hurt you, but they can do that too. But they can cut off opportunities for you. They can block things for you. They can influence people who would give you opportunities to not give you an opportunity.
Well, we see that all the time in the entertainment industry.
All the fucking time.
With Monique, she was blackballed. So was oh God, she's one of my favorite people.
Monique deserved it.
Eartha Kitt, I'm not going to agree with that. Eartha Kitt, she's another one. She was blackballed because of her views, her political views, and her stance on how this country treats black people. She was blackballed for years.
Look at how she treated black people.
There have been many people who have had to deal with that. And we see it all the time.
Nah. Yeah, I don't fuck with Monique. But the reason I say that Monique deserved it is because, first of all, you don't create a movement and then abandon your movement and never even take any accountability for it. She made all them fat bitches all proud and shit and told them to keep eating. And then her fucking nut ass went and got this weight loss surgery, came back thinner and ain't say shit.
She didn't have no surgery.
Yes, she did.
No.
Okay, how'd she lose the weight then?
She worked out and lost the weight.
She had the surgery.
No, she didn't have the surgery.
Okay. Why?
And I hear what you're saying, but that's my view of her being blackballed is so different than that. It is just a different view of her and her situation. You know, when I say to this day, she's a good one because if I were in her shoes, I don't think, and she's probably more of an aggressive woman than I would ever be. So I say this lightly because, and maybe because she understands the entertainment industry better than I do, or she has more decorum about it. I don't know. I probably would have reacted on some Cardi B when she came after Nicki at the event shit. Like, the news would report every time I saw Oprah, I would try to beat her ass every time, just on site. There's no way I would stay off of her because of what she did to her many moons ago. I don't think I would ever, 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 ever let that go. I don't think I would ever stop attacking her. So because of the situation, because of the how delicate the situation was, that's the reason why I say what I say. And then later on down the line, that whole thing about because she didn't want to promote a movie because she wasn't getting paid for it. Like, what the fuck? I want to get paid. If I'm going to promote this hard, then I want to get paid for it if other people get paid for it. If I'm not, I fucking don't want to do it. And let me choose if I want to do it. You're not going to bully me into doing something I don't want to do, especially if you're not running my money. And everybody felt like, well, because it's Tyler Perry and I can't think of the other guy's name right now. Because it's those
Lee Daniels.
Lee Daniels. Because it's them and they're quote unquote in some people's head, Black Hollywood royalty. She should have kissed ass and bent the knee and kissed the ring and went on and did it anyway. And it's like, no. Like, it's not like, at the end of the day, Tyler Perry is not paying anybody any more than any other studio. That's the truth. They want to make it sound like it and make it a big deal, but he's not. So I don't blame her for that. And for everybody who came out and said, like, well, because it's Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and Oprah Winfrey, she should have did. No, she shouldn't have did shit. You do it the same way you do it if it's anybody else. If it's Steven Spielberg. If he's put you in a movie and it's not right, you don't have to do it. But that's why I say what I say. All that other stuff, I mean, that's just empty noise to me, white noise. And I'm
Well,
talking about the core things of the reason why she was blackballed. And she was blackballed because she spoke out how she was. She felt like, I didn't do this because I didn't want to do it because I wasn't being paid for it. And you purposely lied and you purposely did these things to blackball me in this industry. So she stood on what she wanted to say. Now, I mean, I'm in support of that. Like, you're not going to fuck me over and think I'm going to kiss your ass because everybody else does. I don't give a shit about you. So
well,
that's why I say that about her. But that's an example of somebody being blackballed because they formed this opinion of her and made everybody feel like, well, she's a bad person to work with because this. And then there are people who reacted in kind because they had already had the seed planted and they wanted to be a part of it too. They also wanted to say she was hard to work with and hard to deal with because of that. So that's why I say that. But she's not the only one. Again, like I said, Eartha Kitt was blackballed for a long time because of her opinion about how this country treats us. And they felt like she had no room to be so political and say the things she said. And she felt like, I'm going to say them, I stand on them. I'm a black woman, and this country is a shitter when it comes to my people. So, anyway.
well, when it comes to Monique, I'm not going to speak on what I don't know. Like, as far as the contract disputes and all that kind of shit, I can't speak on that. But this is what I do know. She's the only one I know that tries to get all her fans to change her contracts to do her business for, like she paying her fans to do it. She's all about that bully pulpit shit. And that's why when she basically crafted the BBB movement, I mean the BBW movement, and abandoned that shit, I'm like, okay, well, look at this shit. So you wrote books, went on seminars, led a whole movement, told these chicks, don't just eat whatever you want to eat, do whatever you want to do. She literally said that, literally. Comes back thin, just disappears for almost a year. Comes back thin, no, don't say shit. Oh, my doctor told me that I was gonna die if I ain't get my shit together. Guess what? Every other overweight person got told that same shit. You don't think you don't think your people would have rolled with you if you hadn't pivoted and said, well, listen, I know I told y'all to just go ahead and be proud of yourselves, and y'all should, but we can be proud of ourselves if we live. So my doctor told me that I gotta start losing some weight, so I'm gonna do it. And I want y'all to all come and do it with me. So fuck these skinny bitches can still be evil, but we can get it from fat bitches to thick bitches. She could have done that, but no, she a coward. So what she did was come back, cop a plea, leave the whole movement behind. The movement's still going on without her. Irresponsibly. But every time she don't get paid what she want to get paid, oh no, y'all should boycott. Boycott for who? The fuck? Cause you ain't get paid? I should stop. I don't like no Tyler Perry, Lee Dan. I don't like none of that shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna not go. I won't go see their movies because they shit. The writing is terrible. Everything is fucking low quality shit. He makes good actors. I'm just saying, but not because she say so. Because she didn't get.
Nobody should be doing anything because somebody say so.
Well, she don't see them understand that. What happened with Netflix? What happened when she ain't get the money that she wanted, that she thought she should get paid from Netflix on some straight hater shit? Oh, you gonna pay her all this money, but you ain't gonna pay me? Y'all should boycott this shit. For who? Who the fuck is you? Who are you to be calling for a boycott, Monique? Every time you don't get what you want, you telling everybody to boycott. For you. No. Fuck you. Until you
I didn't keep up with all of that because none of that's important to me. None of that.
Well, I don't see how you couldn't keep up with it because she the only one who does it. Nobody else does that shit. Nobody. Taraji P, everybody done been through that. You know what I mean? Black women not getting paid as much and all that kind of shit. But she the only one telling everybody, yo, put this money in my pocket so I can have it. Y'all ain't getting shit, but you know what I mean? Do it for me. But she the only one had
when people do it, that's on them. Like, you can't blame her for people being weak-minded. That's how I feel about it.
She ain't got no business calling for it though.
Like, what women, like, you weak if you, I don't know. I just
what business does she have? What business does she have calling for it? That's the question.
People can do what they want to do. That's the thing about it. People can do what they want to do.
You right?
She's one of many who do stuff like that. Like,
no. Ain't nobody else. Ain't nobody call for no boycott because they ain't get paid on the contract.
The people that call for a boycott when her husband didn't get that award that year for
who?
Grammys or whichever it was.
Who?
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh yeah, she did. She did. She said to boycott the Oscars. She called the boycott the Oscars. But I could, even though I don't think he deserved no Oscar, he ain't never done no best.
That wasn't from the movie that deserves an Oscar. But
listen, you ain't got to turn me no more against Jada Pinkett Smith or Will Smith. I mean, I don't fuck with them. But they talk about an award. She was defending her husband about an award that she felt like he should have gotten. Not because his money wasn't right. Shit. I mean, in all reality, black people should always boycott the fucking Oscars. We stay getting shitted on. And it should have started a long time ago.
Create your own space. Fuck some people. That's how I feel about it. But I mean, that's a different show.
That's right. I
mean, back to the topic.
Well, you know what I mean? Like I said, you know, bum ass Monique. But anyway, so
let's get back to the topic because I just keep thinking about it and I want to walk back a little bit to a part of this discussion. And so for me, it's full disclosure. I want to walk back to the part about family. So I just keep thinking about it as we're talking. And it sounds like, oh, she's a sweet person because she has some morals and humanity and blah, 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 because I put some things aside to communicate with people who I just don't on a normal basis. However, I don't feel the same when it comes to family. My blood relatives, the people I'm related to by blood, I don't have that same feeling. And I don't know if it's because of the situation that brought us to this place. I don't know if it's because the hurt goes deeper and it's harder to be forgiving. I don't know. But when it comes to some of my blood relatives, I will never talk to them again. And I've had people say, well, what life is short and they're not going to be here forever. And I say, life is too long to be miserable. And they may part miserable without me recognizing it until I became an adult, until different things happen, until we have so many deaths in the family. But now I never want to speak to them again. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to feel hurt once they transition. But it just means as long as we are living and breathing, I want nothing to do with you ever again. as long as I can see the sun come up and the moon go down. That's what it means. And I know people say that sounds so harsh because that's your family. And you come into this world with them and they're always there. But family has a way of hurting you more than any stranger ever could. Like, a stranger can't hurt my feelings, but my family has found a way to rip my feelings apart in ways that I never imagined would happen. My mother's sister, because I don't refer to these people as aunts and uncles anymore. My mother's sister, one of her sisters, this older one who lives out of state, she was my favorite coming up. And I didn't realize that she used me as a weapon against my mother because she had beef with my mother that went all the way back to them being kids, to them being teenagers. And she used me as a weapon against my mother for as long as I can remember. Now that I know, now that I can look back on it, now that I can recognize it. And it caused my mother and I not to have the kind of relationship we should have had as a mother and daughter. She used the angst of a teenage girl calling her trusted relative, her trusted confidant to gripe about her mom because that's what we do. And that was the adult I trusted to, today she may be mad because she told me I couldn't go outside, that kind of shit. And instead of her saying, that's still your mother, you gotta respect her, da 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 da, she leaned into, and what else happened? And what did you say? And what did she say? That kind of thing. And she used that back against my mother in the darkest times of her life. And when I look back over these things, I can never have nothing else to do with this person on any kind of level. So that's why I say I had to walk that back and be transparent with it because, of course, like I said, these other people, they're not my relatives, they're not my loves or the guys. Mm-hmm. Of course, I have love for them, but this lady, this bitch Nikki, I don't know for her, but because of her son, yeah. However, it's not the same for these people who are my actual blood relatives. I don't feel the same, and I'm hard pressed to even find that piece of compassion in me or that piece of humanity in me to feel different. And to add salt to the open wound, all the things surrounding what happened with my grandmother just made that 10 times even. It made a flame that has never smoldered. It made a flame that will never go out. It made a hatred inside me that started with my mother's death and extended to my grandmother's death. And that hatred has never gone away. And people say, one day over time, because you know how you are, you stay mad at people for years, and then one day you're through. And I'm like, I don't think you understand that's not going to happen, unfortunately. And I have no qualms about it. I have no guilt about it. I have no feeling about it at all. I'm absolutely numb to it. I feel the way I feel, and that's the end of it. And everyone else is bothered about it, but I'm not. I don't have any feeling about it. And especially when I saw this woman who I loved so much as a child, and she felt so endearing toward do things that no one, I've never seen anyone in this family do, even to the point of the day of my mother's funeral. She put my brothers in a position I've never known them to be. As kids, we fight. As kids, you fight your siblings. That's normal. But as adults, you don't go to blows with your siblings and
Mm-hmm.
especially on the day to bury your mother. And this lady did everything in her power to 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 shape the pot, put the soup in the pot, stir it up, heat it up, and pour it out, and brought these two who have never fought as adults, no matter what happened, to blows in front of my grandmother's house as she's preparing to go to her daughter's funeral and their mother's funeral. And this lady crafted this whole thing. No, I can never, ever, 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 ever. I can say that and mean it. Ever let that go. So that's why I say I think it's a very thin line when it becomes to family, because those are the people who can hurt you more than anyone else on this planet. So.
I don't know. There are times when some people just cross the line. They cross a line that can't be repaired. You know what I mean? I'm a firm believer in that. There's some things that a person just can't recover from. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, I'm sorry that what happened to you happened to you. And so many people have a similar story to that to tell. My thing is, once you get to the point of no return with a person, then you're there. Now, for some people, that can be a long road. It can take a long road in order to get there. And for some people, it can take shorter. And that's not just dealing with me personally. I'm talking about for some people have such a understanding and rational heart that it might be easier for them to reconcile their feelings and whatever happens with somebody like me. It might take a little longer when I know that somebody did something on purpose. See, it's one thing for somebody to make a really bad mistake, but if you make a bad mistake in the commission of trying to do some fuck shit on purpose, so I mean, what do you expect me to do with that? You know? So these are some of the things that we have to deal with. Now, when it comes to family, oh man, when it comes to family, it's funny, you said earlier that what did you say? You didn't say we don't get to choose our family. You said something like,
I said we're
relatives.
blessed. We have the gift. We are given this beautiful blessing where we can select who we want to be family, because those people we are just related to. Those blood people we're related to by blood, and it doesn't necessarily make them family. It makes us related to them. But we get to choose who we want to be family. That's the beauty of this life. We get to choose to say, I love this person enough, this person loves me enough, we rock with each other enough, and this is my sister, this is my brother, this is my cousin, this is the lady I call mom now is my stepmom, but I love her so much, and I couldn't ask for a better woman, a better second mom, a better whatever you want to call her, that I can't refer to her to anything other than mom, and I struggle with what to call her because I would never dishonor my mother by calling another woman mama. But I had to find something that was close enough to how I felt about this lady. So I call her mom, because she is my family, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not blood related to me. And that's the beauty of the gift of choosing who we get to say is our family.
Well, okay, I understand what you're saying. So you're it's funny because my idea of family is a little bit different than yours. I don't, okay. But regardless of that, I'll say this. When your blood relatives, when you see that they have deliberately targeted you, maybe for years or for whatever reason, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's going to hurt. But I've still seen it where, people will still ride for them. People will still do certain things as long as their sense of self hasn't been necessarily attacked. I mean, like in families where there's been sexual assault and shit like that, and people have tried to sweep it under the rug.
Not try to, they do.
Well, nonetheless, you don't get things done until you try. So I say try to sweep it under the rug because the victim, it ain't always having it. Like, y'all not gonna do this. Y'all can try to make me look like the bad guy amongst yourselves all you want. But what's not gonna happen is me staying silent about it. So, and there are times when you can be the bad guy and you were just the victim. You know what I mean? So I've seen that play out. And the only reason I use that example is because that's the most extreme example where you would think that most people would not support. Because even if you like the sexual assailant, you probably don't like the sexual assault that they committed. So it could be like, that's my brother and I love him, but you know what he did. So you don't like that part. You don't like what he does. You don't like that part of him. So you got a decision you need to make. And you've already made your decision by trying to cover up what he did. So that's doing something for somebody who you didn't like. And I
can't help but to wonder sometimes if some of that too is because, we are taught, well, for a long time, especially our generation, taught, what goes on in this house stays in this house, what goes on in this family stays in this family. And no matter what, that's your uncle, cousin, brother, sister, blah, 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 blah. That's family. We all we got. Family over everything. You know what I'm saying? That's ingrained, especially in our generation, that was ingrained in us. That no matter what, that's family. And nothing else matters, and y'all stick together. I wonder if some of that comes from that too. Some people have never gotten out of that, have never walked away from that. Even in some of my love circles, there are family members in the same family, born and raised in the same household, same parents, and you have two over here who are like, it's family over everything, no matter what, we'll work it out. And two others who are like, I don't give a fuck. You may not remember what happened, but I remember what happened, and I don't want nothing to do with them, and I moved into a whole other state, and don't none of y'all come to visit me, and I won't come visit you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't claim y'all, I don't care. So, I wonder if some of that has to do with it, too.
It happens. It happens. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to dealing with people who you don't like, dealing with people that you don't like is one thing. Doing things for people who you don't like takes a different type of resolve. It takes a different type of patience. It takes a different type of humility. You know what I mean? Because it's not always for the money. Sometimes it's for the love. Even you could do something for the love, even if you don't love a person. If you understand what I'm saying. But yeah, your in-laws. I've known plenty of people who didn't like they in-laws. still had to do things for him because the person you were married to, you loved enough to sacrifice your own peace of mind. So you did some shit for a person or for some people that you don't even like. And it happens. And that's just life. And it's the part of life that we hate the most, probably. Well, I don't know. Probably one of the parts of life that I hate the most is liver. They told me I would like that shit when I got older. And I must not be old enough. That shit is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
People trying to talk you into liking that shit.
They say, don't it smell good with the onions and gravy, and it can smell as good as it was, but you know what it is, and no thank you. Pass. Hard pass.
Well, my thing about liver is,
yeah,
people always talking about you got to know how to cook it.
I don't care about that.
Well, hold on.
People say about beef.
Now, hold on. They say you got to know how to cook it, and then they want to point to everything that's in the liver or around the liver that you do like. Gravy, mushrooms, I don't know, green peppers, onions, whatever all that shit tastes good. I'm like, yo, give me everything that you did with the liver, but take the liver out and we be good. Part. Let me put this shit on a piece of beef or some other, anything but that shit is terrible.
It by itself without it. I'll eat it by itself without the meat. Mushrooms are hearty enough to replace it. I'll eat it by itself without any meat. Just don't give me any kind of... As a matter of fact, don't have liver in the house. If we can remove it from the planet, let's do that.
Yo,
just no.
They say you're not supposed to be eating organ meat anyway. But I'm like, if liver is so great, why need all that other shit? Why? You know what I mean? Like if I cook chicken, I don't have to put it in all that other shit to be good. If I make a piece of beef, I don't have to put all that other stuff in it. Like that liver ain't shit by itself.
And then people who eat pate are always like, well, that's pate. It's still some liver. It's some animal's liver. So it's still trash. No, thank you. That and what's the other one? Braunschweiger? That crap. That's some animal's liver. No.
Yeah, I'm good.
No and no.
I'm good. No. I'm good. The way that shit look in the pack. All that damn blood. You know what the liver functions? Do the people understand what the functions of the liver are? Got no business eating that shit. You might as well go ahead and eat the chitlins.
And drink your piss.
I know, right?
That's the function of the liver. So no thank you, pass. I'm glad you said that. That I feel the same about beets. However, I can fathom beets because that's one of the things I'm like, this is an eat-to-lose situation.
Beets?
Because I want to drink that juice. The liver, negative. And I'm going to tell you, when my dad was dealing with his holistically dealing with cancer, that was one of, oh God, I just hate to even say what I'm about to say because it's already making my stomach, it's making me feel like I want to vomit just thinking about the words I'm about to say. And he says it to me to let me know all the time, you do not ever want to deal with this thing. When he was going through his holistic way of dealing with cancer and sorry, I can't think of what's called the African term, but I'm going to say naturopathic, who was working with him with it. He had to eat raw calf liver as part of the treatment. And there's no way, I don't think I could ever get through something like that. And he does not paint a pretty picture of it. He lets you know, how mortified he was that he had to do that, and how horrific it was to do that. However, he did it because he wanted to live, and it served well because here he is, 80 plus years old. But God, cook liver, the thought of cook liver is disgusting. But raw liver? No, no. I am such a baby. There's no way I would get through that. None.
That shit
Till
is
now.
ass. Oh, you seen the chat? I just found out that Cheryl Hudson eat liver. I'm like, wow. Oh God. You think you know a person?
There's a lot of people who do.
You think you know a person, and then you know what I mean? Then you find out they eat liver. Now you gotta switch around your whole like everything. Everything starts from here. Now everything starts from here. But she did have a good.
No, you gotta unfriend her because she eats liver.
Why not? Like that's like dealing with a person that's like dealing with somebody that harms the elderly. Okay, so she said it's hard when someone you love commits a crime and you totally are against it. Do you cut that person off, or do you try to lecture them until they change, or send them help, or just smile and wave? It does. It depends on the crime. Like if you,
I think that depends on the crime, because if it's somebody, let's just say they got out here and robbed a bank. I mean, no, I'm like, why the fuck did you do that? And don't tell me anything because I open at my door. But that's one of those things we can talk through. Like, are you retarded? Why the fuck did you do that? Like, you know better. That was stupid. Now your ass is in jail, and I'm not gonna write you letters to come and visit, but I'll catch you when you get out. However, if you touch some kids, I am not fucking with you at all. And I'm going to be on the side of the person who takes you to court for it. That's a whole different kind of thing right there. I just think it
depends on the crime. Now, there are certain crimes that I would defend you on. Now I'm trying to think, what crime could you commit, or what would my feelings for you have to be before I would harbor you as a fugitive? Because you know they giving people who defend people or who aid and abet after the fact, you know, they giving them mad years. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen a few people get caught up in that. So, but yeah, that's a tough one.
Manslaughter for self-defense is one of those things where I'm like, I'm gonna rock with you.
Rocking with you and hiding you in a basement, or telling the cops that that I didn't hear from you, and lying, and the motherfuckers get you in a grand jury. You know what I mean? Shit get nasty. Shit get nasty.
Say it was self-defense because you were protecting my family. Say it was self-defense because you were protecting my family. That I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do.
Well, she said
probably not.
But you got to think about the question that she asked. She said, when a family member or someone that you love commits a crime, and you totally are against it, you wouldn't be against somebody protecting your family.
So then again, that goes back to depends on the crime. So I guess I'm against people selling drugs to the community. However, I'm on the fence with it because it's not. If somebody comes to you to purchase, who's at fault here? The person who wants to purchase, or you for selling it to them? I mean, I believe that this is two things at once. You both are wrong. However, if this is a grown person who's making this decision, I can't totally blame it on you. So that's what I'm like, let's have a conversation about. But again, it goes back. The other side is, if you touch some kids, then I'm out.
Yeah, the whole children thing is that ain't going even. Or I wouldn't care if it wasn't children. Any sexual assault, I'm not rocking with you. We not doing that. We not doing that. Any type of child abuse.
Harm animals. Harm animals, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Harming animals, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What, you doing stuff to animals, throwing kittens in the water? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, no.
Listen, hold on. Cheryl's talking about something. We've had this discussion plenty of times. Well, there's a reason that I keep erasing it from my memory. There's a reason that I have to unlearn this shit, unhear it, unknow it. I can't accept that anybody I've known for this long, you know what I mean, could do something like this. What the fuck am I talking about? My mom. Fuck am I talking about? My mom and my sister. My mom and my sister eat that shit. What the fuck you mean?
Hold it against her taste buds.
Fuck you mean? Don't hold it against. Fuck, you know what I mean? You out here eating liver and beating kids. You know what I mean? Because the two go together. The two. I ain't never known nobody that didn't eat liver, that ate liver that wasn't violent. That wasn't violent towards children and animals. I bet you torturing the fucking chipmunks, the raccoons and shit. You know what I mean? Like I hate raccoons as much as the next man, but you don't see me. You know what I mean? This shit is disgraceful. It is like fucking disgraceful. I'm so sad. What? I bet you my horoscope said you gonna learn some shit today that's gonna fuck your whole world up. I bet you that's what it say. Let me look it up. Let me see. Oh, let me see what it say. It say right here, Leo. If I was you, I'd stop reading this shit right now. You don't fuck that shit. It's right. It's right. It's God damn.
Sure, I don't know. Yuck on the river, but I mean, I might eat to other people too. I don't know.
Listen, Yasir, let me see. Belal. Listen, man, we over here talking about liver. Hopefully you don't eat that shit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to...
You better keep it to yourself.
Listen, man, you know what I mean? Look, I can deal with a lot of people. I can deal with people coming out gay. I can deal with them, you know what I mean? You know, all kinds of freaky, crazy, nasty shit. But liver? I'm like, yo, man, you got kids. You got kids. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. You got kids, man. You know what I mean? You over here taking care of seniors. You know what I mean? Do they know that shit? I bet you ain't tell them that shit. I bet you ain't tell them.
People like liver, seniors. What are you talking about? No. Do they know? They're the people who like it.
Yeah, they the people who like it, but they the people who like it, but shit. How did they give birth to so many who don't like it?
Because they was forcing us to try to eat. You like, you can put it on all the rice you want to. I'm taking an ass whooping tonight because I'm not eating that.
Look, I'm not eating that shit. I'll never eat it again.
I'm not going to be able to watch Charlie Brown. So be it.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, my oldest sister, she didn't used to like this shit. Now she done turned state's evidence and started eating this shit. You know what I mean? Me and her relationship ain't the same. You know what I mean? We just not the same. Like, you know, I don't. She flipped. Somebody flipped her. You know what I mean? This shit is unacceptable.
You didn't tell me she had been kidnapped. I didn't know your sister had been kidnapped.
Man.
So it sounds like that's the only way that happened. She got kidnapped, and then they forced her to eat it, and they had her for about a year or more, and they made her eat it every day, and she just her taste buds became numb to it, and so she just kept eating it because she That's all she knew.
Listen,
So you
man.
didn't tell me she was being kidnapped, and I'm sorry that happened to your family. I
Listen.
really am. I give my condolences.
This is how I feel
And I
about
mean, I
liver.
might need to get her therapy so she can break that habit and get out of that.
This is how I feel about liver. You could point a loaded pistol at my privates and be like, "You gonna eat that liver?" And I'm like, man, I've done it enough times in my life. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, let me just get a shirt off because I'm not eating.
like, I mean, yeah. just don't bleed me out. Just don't bleed me out. But I'm not. Come on, man. I'm standing on mine. I'm standing on mine. Like I'm not. No. Those days
And
are
I'm sorry
gone.
Shirley was kidnapped too. I'm sorry that happened to you, honey. I really am. I hate that for you. What's it called? When you in love with your kid, the people who like Elizabeth Warren, the people who was in love with the kidnapper. What is that called? And I feel like that's what it was. That's your sister and Cheryl have delivered because they were kidnapped and forced to eat it, and then they just fell in love with it. I just can't. Yeah, yeah. I just sorry that happened to you, Cheryl, because I can't imagine anybody purposely wanting to eat
Nah,
it.
I'm not apologizing for sure because she brought and now she's attracting other people who like liver. Now Yasir is talking about he eat like liver. You know what? Yo, this is what happens when you see we already 9 minutes over the time we should have ended the show. We out of here. We out of here. You know what I mean? Because now this is everything is turning bad now. It's starting to get dark in here.
Liver is diabolical.
It's terrible. Beyond terrible. All right. All right.
Everyone, peace. Stay safe.
All right. I'm going to holler at you later. You be safe. Be well. And I'll see you next time. One love.
All righty.
All right. Oh, shit. Y'all see it talking about some liver barbecue. What up, Sophia Garcia? Sophia Garcia in La Casa. What's good? What's good? All right, y'all. Let me take a look at let's do this poll. Let's do the poll. Then we're going to do these birthday shout outs and get on up out of here. All right, the poll question is, what is your strongest thought on dealing with people who you don't like? 10% says it's fake if you don't like them, but deal with them. 53%, which is the lion's share for sure, says you don't have to like them to interact with them. Very mature answer. 23% says, ain't doing it, no way, I can't do it. In other words, if I don't like you, I ain't gonna be interacting with you. I ain't gonna be kicking it with you. I ain't gonna be doing nothing. And 13% says, if money is involved, I can do it. I understand. It's business, G. It's business, son. Damn. Hey, Mickey says Stockholm syndrome. Psh, identifying with liver. That is, you right. Hey, Mickey, you are real right. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, hold on. Let me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, hey, Mickey. You know what I'm saying? That settles it. That's the best way it could have been put. It couldn't get no better, you know what I'm saying? It's the only way. Sheesh. Man, all right. What they're going to do? We're going to do these birthday shout-outs. We have some birthday shout-outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious July 1st, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, my baby brother, going by the name of Charles Lindsay. Wink, wink. Happy birthday to you. And also Robin Walker. Happy birthday. And Kivana Michelle Bryant, Jennifer Jones, Danielle Bryant, Courtney Lewis, Blanche Bracewell, Sonia Huey, Arias Yakeline, Eric Allen, and last but not least, my girl, affectionately known or professionally known as Sheba Passion Flower, real name Antonia Hamilton. I would like to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious July 1st, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out. Rock on and do the damn, to rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, go hard, go for yours, and remember, dealing with people that you don't like. Sometimes you gotta let them hang out, take a hike. Sometimes you ride a bike. Sometimes you gotta let them hold to something because you're not old or nothing. Yo. And life is get kind of crazy when you got to deal with people energetic or lazy. Sometimes they faze me. Sometimes you got to take a step back and just look at the way they act. Keep your feelings intact. Put them to the side. Sometimes you can't always work off all your pride. And the feelings inside sometimes come out. You can see plain as your face like they sprayed with mace. Yeah, you squinting your eyes and kind of tearing up. But I see this kind of shit is causing fear and yup. Sometimes you feel like the best way to be is to stay to yourself, and we'll see. Whoever gravitates towards you, you know how it go. Sometimes you just gotta put on your show. And sometimes the curtain just won't close. He's staying on stage for the whole night with all these hoes. And I say the Bose speakers was pumping, and I say grab the mic and I had to say a little something. What? Do you understand what we're trying to do out here? Trying to live peaceful, keep our minds clear, and our hearts in the right place. Sometimes motherfuckers really just trying not to give you space and a trace of something that you left behind. Yeah, they trying to catch up to you. And it's kind of like the things that you was trying to avoid, like that commercial back in the day, avoid the noise. There's somebody who's getting on your nerves. I'm tired of all of these cornballs and all the herbs and all of these birds. You know what I'm talking about? Chicken heads coming on through what you trying to do. And we know chicken heads have their own place in time and gotta do another rhyme. I shine like the sun that's up in the sky. That's why I named myself that shit and I get high. Well, actually, stopped getting high over a decade ago. But still, I say so. What's really going to be? Is it me or you, or are we trying to be free from each other? Yeah, we used to be like brothers, hanging out with each other all the time. But I'm on another type time these days, and I'm going to let you do what you got to do. And I'm going to make my own plays. Have somebody else run them. I'm gunning, but I'm still not trying to son nobody who comes around this get fried like fish. I ain't trying to put you up on my little bad shit list, but shit list is not something I eat and liver either. I'm tired of that shit. It reminds me of beavers chewing on wood, but the shit is mushy. I don't like that shit. Reminds me of pussy that ain't been washed in a long time. You expect me to put my face down here? I'ma stay clear. But enough of these types of lines. I'm out of here, and I'ma see y'all tomorrow in time 2 o'clock a.m. That's when we rock. And I hope y'all hit the like button so we can rock. Yo, peace to each and every one. Now I see y'all tomorrow. Yo, peace out, son. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night with another Daily Go Getimism show. So y'all know what it is. Yo, have a good night, y'all. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Become a channel member. You know what I mean? Let's do this. Peace, y'all. All right.